employee experience. A little bit about your presenter. I'm Vidya Rao, the founder of Innovators Marketers Touchpoint. I also write often in a couple of leading online publications, and I teach at NL Dalmia Institute of Management Studies. My Marketers Touchpoint basically helps our clients do 4 things to help you understand your buyers better, to apply design thinking to enhance the customer experience and employee experience, and to help companies build a customer-centric organization and revisit the digital strategy, as each company is now trying to understand what the D word means for their business. Yes, we do play a small part in that ecosystem. So today's agenda is to basically try and understand what this employee experience is all about. There's a lot of buzz around today in the market around this term, and we're basically going to try and understand what this means and what it stands for. We also try to understand how is it that a company which is interested in embarking on this employee experience journey go about, and where does design thinking come into place, and few more things that might be relevant to you. So before we get into what EX is and not, let's try and set the context right. Let's try and understand where are we today. So a lot of things that's happening today, in the world, in the competitive marketplace that we all are in. And for HR professionals, there are a lot of forces that are shaping and looking at HR to redesign themselves so that they stay relevant. As HR professionals, we continue to stay relevant. So we're talking about an issue to attract and retain the right talent. We're looking at robots and automation which are coming and eating up jobs. So there are a lot of people issues and concerns that today HR professionals have to deal with. A lot of next-gen, new-gen companies are suddenly becoming a great place to work, and established organizations are suddenly finding themselves not able to attract the kind of quality talent that they used to do in the past. Concerns as usual with the work-life balance with respect to diversity, and in this whole digital era, this whole issue of collaboration overload that we are talking about. With so many devices, gadgets, tools available at disposal, we want to be connected, but that also puts in an extra pressure on us. The rules of competition is also changing. So today, the customer who's out there as the audience basically interacts with the employees who are in the front stage, as we call, who are performing and attracting those customers and convincing those customers to use our products and services. But at the same time, they need support from the backstage, the other departments, so that they can work in sync with them to deliver the experience the customer wants to receive today. And to do that, the organization that's behind the scene with the right set of policy, guidelines, tools, frameworks, budgets should be enabling them. So what we are seeing is the organization is basically responsible for delivering the employee experience so that they in turn can deliver the experience to the customer so that they can attract and retain the customers. So the intent is the companies which are winning today are basically building in this culture of engagement so that they are in a better position to ensure that at each interaction that they're having with their customers, it makes sense so that they start building confidence on their brand and have the ability to retain them. Now, in all of this, what's happening today is the senior leadership team is now asking HR to help them be their business partners and ensure that they're able to meet the business goals that they're setting for themselves. And in this process, as HR, one of the areas that you end up focusing on is on employee engagement. This traditional employee engagement of just trying to have some meet and greet events or an award ceremony is failing to help, because the whole employee engagement piece that we are talking about is getting increasingly difficult to manage, because we're talking about technology changes. Today, employees want an experience when they are working with your organization, and they just don't want a job. They want to have a meaning, a purpose for why they are coming and working in the workplace. A lot of the methods, the traditional methods that we still continue to use, are becoming archaic and obsolete. And we also see that there are a lot of changes in the way people want to work. There are people who want to work with us full time. There are some who want to work with us on a part-time basis. There are some who want to work from home. There are some who work on the go. So today, to engage the employee, it is very important that the relevant tools, the right kind of work environment is provided to the employee, the right culture is built so that the employee gets empowered to work in the new digital era. So the whole engagement world sometimes also kind of limits us, and Josh Berson puts it excellently when he says that using the word engagement often limits our thinkings. It assumes that our jobs is to reach out and engage people rather than to build an organization that is exciting, fulfilling, fun, and meaningful. So somewhere as HR today, we realize that we have an opportunity to basically redesign the organization to meet the challenges which we are facing in the current era. We also see this as an innovation opportunity. So at this point in time, I would like to do a quick poll and ask you, according to you, is employee experience is equal to employee engagement in the current context? So I would request you to respond to this poll, and then let's take it from there. We have 8 out of 10 participants who have shared their views, and we see that there are quite a few who have answered as true. So could you say why true? And those who have said false, why false? So I'm just sharing the poll results with the team here. And if you could just put your comments in the chat box, it would be great. So for those who said true, I would like to understand from you as to why do you think employee experience is equal to employee engagement? I see a couple of people are trying to respond, so yes, great. So see, Yuling has written false because employee engagement only makes up a part of the employee experience. Excellent, Yuling, you've got it right. When we meet in person, just come and grab a chocolate from me for the right answer. So Vishal says, for me it's false as employee experience will also include functional experience, customer satisfaction, product pull and many other things. Yes Vishal, you two have got it right. So could we have some responses from the guys who shared true? Well, Mayank says when employee experience is good, the engagement with the company increases towards meeting long-term goals. Yes, you've got it right. And we have Gurpreet and Meet also writing, so I'm just yet to get their final comments. Alright, here we have Meet saying that apart from work, employee engagement is the good thing that attracts an employee to work for the company as the younger workforce needs perks more than just salary. Gurpreet, a good employee experience will definitely lead to better engagement of the workforce. Great, all of you have the right answers, but then part of the right answers. So let's go in a little more into trying to unravel this whole concept of what this employee experience is all about. But before we do that, it's very important that as HR professionals, we break free from the mindset of just being that process developer and maintainer. Create some policies, ensure that salaries reach in time, just conduct some performance appraisal, which is an annual function at the end of the year to ensure that the right kind of hikes can be given. Break free from those bell curves and a lot many more other traditional concepts that we've been following to become that employee experience architect that we need to be. The word architect itself says, we need to be designers. We all design. I mean, we have been designing. Your current policy that is available is designed. It's just that now we start looking at it from a fresh pair of lens because the complexities today have increased further. So let's try to understand what this whole employee experience piece is all about. So in a quick nutshell, it's about every interaction that the employee or a prospective employee has with your brand, right from the time they start dreaming that they would like to possibly work for your brand, till the time they decide to move on and start working elsewhere or retire. So every interaction helps them form an opinion which can make or break that experience. The more the positive interactions, the better is it for your brand. So now let's try to see how can those experiences be worked upon. So we're just taking a very small example out here, which is that of a pre-hire stage when candidates are trying to explore and know more about your organization and see if you're a right fit for them, and start applying. Now, there are different touch points that they kind of come across. A company website, a career section within the website, word of mouth. It could be from their if it's freshers, it's from their college seniors, their alumni, or their parents. It could be a neighbor. It could be anyone that they know of. The general reputation that you have in the market. Do you keep getting the headlines as the best place to work, or this new initiative has happened, or you're talking about so many people are being fired, and people who were offered jobs are no more, those positions are not getting honored. So what's the kind of reputation that you're creating for yourself? How easy are you making it for a person to apply for a job? There are often times when we get responses, no reply at company.com. Now, if I get a mail saying that I have an opening there, and I see an email ID saying no reply, it doesn't make it convenient. Or I go to a website and I just see a careers at something.com, but if I write, there is absolutely no acknowledgement that they have received it, they are processing it, or they are considering it, or they don't want to consider it. So there's absolutely no connect that is being built up. So such interactions basically, the person gets disinterested or feels that you're not the right fit for them. So at every stage, when you look at all the different touch points, which we also call as the employer brand's moment of truth. So it could be a positive, a negative, a neutral experience, or in some cases we might not have a ready evidence if I try and do an audit if something like that exists, and to be able to comment on it. So this is where it begins. At every stage in that journey, what is it that you would like the candidate or the employee hear about your organization? What would you like them to say? What are they hearing from the market? What is it that you want them to think makes a lot of difference? So what EX is not is these piecemeals. It's not just employee life cycle, it's just not the employee value proposition, or it's just not the voice of the employee survey that you do as a mandate once in a year, or the perks that you give to employees, or the whole talent management piece that we are talking about, but it is a combination of all the things which is what makes the employee experience. And all this, focusing on this would help an organization to attract and retain and grow the right talent. It also would help you reinvent. Now, every company is going through this transformation, whether they want or not. At least the board has started discussing what do we do, because every industry has got disrupted in some way or other, and organizations are struggling to kind of reinvent themselves and try to figure out to be there in 2050, what is it that they should be doing, and what is the mantra or the magic that they should be following. And the crux for that is to ensure that you have the right talent on board to be a part of this journey, and ensure that as you become from a product-centric to a customer-centric organization, you have the right people power. So that's where design thinking comes in. So it's a very simple process which helps you to solve these complex problems that today you face. How do you ensure that you can attract the right kind of talent? How do you ensure that even a normal employee who might not have exceptional skills can do some excellent wow work? How can you ensure that you're giving the right kind of work environment where people feel they can contribute and be the next, paint the Michelangelos of the world, so that they're able to bring in their best and contribute to the organization and its goals. So, as HR professionals, how design thinking helps you to design these employee experiences? First, to have a vision for the people in your organization, and the customers for HR are the employees of the organization. So how can you set the customer experience principle or the framework on which you want to work, and what is the kind of experience you want to provide to the employees? So it's right to decide the two ways of working at it. You say, okay, this is what I want to achieve, and this is where I am, and how do I bridge the gap? Empathy is basically to try and understand the employees. Put yourself in the shoes of your employees or prospective candidates and try and understand what are their concerns, their feelings, their frustrations that they are going through. For example, let me give a very simple example. You have a new sales team who's joined on board and you have sent them to remote locations, but you've not enabled them with the right tools. And you have an online portal where the employee can go and update the sales status, but you've not given the person a laptop or a data card or an iPad or any Android tool or device via which they could interact with the organization, with the company data. Now imagine the customer with whom they are dealing with, who now says, in the age of mobile, you're saying that you don't have an app which can do all these things. So the guy feels extremely frustrated, at times not able to meet their targets on time, because as a company you've not provided the right kind of enablement. So there, if you try and bring in your traditional engagement and say, I have a fancy dress competition, it's not going to work. You need to try and understand what are their needs, what is their need to help them do their work better, to stand out and to do that contribution. What is it that they require? And then start exploring the different options that you have. You also need to balance, of course, there's always this balance of funding availability, because the minute you have a business plan or a proposal and go to the management, they'll say, whichever funds you have to manage with whatever you have. So you need to make a solid business case, ensure that the pain and the gain to the pain to the employee and the gain to the business, if by doing away with the pain is strong, you have your business case, and believe me, you're going to get money. There are a lot of accounts in which we've worked, and when we have helped our clients build the right kind of business case, we've got the money from them. So what design thinking basically also says is, you may come up with a lot of ideas, pick the ones that has the meat, do a small prototype and apply it. Get a quick feedback from the relevant audience so that you have the right solution that meets the requirement, and it's not something that is designed that you feel is right, but what they feel is relevant. And then go ahead with the big bang approach. So that's what design thinking framework talks about, and that's where you can use design thinking to help you design the employee experience for your organization. Now, typically the way these get approached is a lot of workshops happen wherein we do these different activities to try and identify what are the problems that you want to focus on first, and then do a series of activities, and depending on the nature of the objective or the outcome that you want to achieve at the end of each session, we decide what is the kind of activity that you should be doing. So that's something which a facilitator decides and would discuss with your core team, and ensure that at the end of the day, when you're walking out of that room, you have the outcome that you wanted to achieve. So that's the beauty of design thinking, because it's an outcome driven approach. It ensures that you get to give the right solution to your customers. And as I said, this is an innovation opportunity for you. There are different areas that you can pick up. It could be culture, it could be giving the identity to each employee, it could be designing your performance management or the learning needs of the employees today, or designing future roles, because with the kind of disruption that we are talking about, a lot of roles today are becoming redundant, or the current roles are about to expire because we see the expiry date is nearing, and you'll be coming up with a lot of new roles with new skill sets, and you need to start planning now in advance as to how are you going to meet that skill gap that's going to come up in the near future. So to create this whole aligned employee experience, it's very important that as HR professionals, you try and ensure how meaningful can you make it meaningful as a work for your employees. Is it fitting? Is it giving them the right set of autonomy so that they can think and deliver their best? For an employee to perform, it's also very important, if you want the person to be creative and think aloud, there are chances that the person may not get it right at the first attempt. So it's very critical to ensure that you create that environment that the person feels safe and assured that even if he or she fails in the first attempt, as long as they don't repeat it and they learn from their mistakes, you have you're with them, you have their back. So that's very important to create that kind of environment. Have that, depending on your industry, depending on the kind of clients that you have, ensure that they have a flexible pace to work. Today in the digital era, with our mobile devices with us, if an urgent mail pops up at 9 at night, I can't say no, we work 9 to 6 and I can't respond to your email. So I need to give them that flexibility to work, to contribute, to be able to do that, to ensure that our employees are also employable. So we need to ensure that we are investing in their continuous upgrading and provide that kind of environment, because without that, suddenly we realize that they're not able to fit in into the future roles that we have in our organization. And it's very important that the team trusts the leadership, that they're being led by the right kind of leaders who can take the organization to the next level. So yes, this is what is important when you're trying to create this whole aligned employee experience. And last but not the least, for you to do these changes, it's very important that you will look at your own HR function, because you need to start changing yourself, the way you're working, because even a lot of your roles, the current traditional roles in HR are becoming obsolete. There are certain functions that can get easily outsourced. So to ensure that you continue to be relevant in the eyes of the management, and you need to take things in your hands. And it all matters because it's about not just about because of the fact that employees are the soul of your brand, or they are the ones who can create those wonder products and services which can create magic in the market, or if you're having a business model which is not making sense, to come and revive and come up with some the Uberization of your business model, but it's also about your survival as a profession. So with this, I would just like to end with the last quote saying that the way your employees feel is the way your customers will feel. And if your employees don't feel valued, neither will your customers. So that is the crux of employee experience. So with this, I would like to have a quick poll to kind of try and understand what is employee engagement all about. Well, great. I see most of you have responded, and I'll do a quick end to the poll and share the results with you. So a lot of you have said A and B or C and A, and a few of you have said A, B, C. Actually, the answer is all the three. So for you to get this engaged employee who can connect with the customer and give that wow experience, you need to give the employees the right experience. So to design, to ensure that employees are engaged, it's very important that you ask yourself these questions about whether your employees try to get their job done despite the strategy or in a way that intentionally contributes to the strategic goals of the organization. How committed, a commitment to their core workers. So what is it? Ask yourself on this point whether employees are part of a multidisciplinary collaborative team that helps complete their best work. Because every individual, however well educated, experienced they are, have their own limitations. We can't be master of all. So this whole concept of a multidisciplinary team working together can create wonders for your organization. And the right set of capabilities, so capabilities which consists of an employee's comprehension, agility, the network they work in, the direction, their expectations, is the most impactful contributor to high performance, especially during those periods of significant changes or the transformation that every organization is going through. So it's critical at this stage for you to ask yourself whether employees are aware of and confident enough to make use of the tools, information, and people that can help them navigate this change. So with this, I'm through with the presentation, and I look forward to questions. So you could, or your feedback that you would like to share. I would like to thank each one of you for making it to this webinar, and look forward to many more sessions with you in the near future. So I look forward to your feedback or any questions that you have that we could discuss. A recording of this webinar would be shared with all the participants. So feel free to share it with your colleagues in case you find it relevant and there is something that they can take as a takeaway from this exercise.